I mean, its market cap at the moment is 22 billion. I expect the income to be profit before tax to be a lot more than 5 billion. I can't remember what the analysts were saying. It's changing quite a lot, and I can't find the exact article I read, but I think it's probably going to be somewhere between 6 and 10 billion in profit before tax. If it is 10 billion, it has a PE ratio of just over 2. Even if it's 6, then it's under a PE of under 4. If it's flat at 5 billion, 5.1 billion, then it's still like just about 4, a PE, 4, price to earnings ratio of 4. And the dividend yield, even at the moment, is 5.5%. And so I think it's pretty amazing. I had a conversation with my friend back in October when the shares were about 210. They're now approaching 250. I made the trade myself today, early today, and it's up 1.48% today. And that's in my account for me and my wife. And I've had a conversation with my friend, and we're going to do a trade on this as well. And we're going to trade NatWest, Barclays, and Lloyds, 3 of the largest banks in the UK, and some of the largest banks in the world, to be honest. Certainly Barclays has got a bigger market cap than NatWest, I believe. But I think this is a really interesting trade. I think that the net interest margin, which is the big, banking metric, what it means is the margin they get from their lending versus their what they pay out to savers is broadening because of interest rates going up. A lot of the banks have gone away from investment banking where there's risk because anything can happen in the financial markets. Yet the mortgage markets are relatively stable. There is going to be people defaulting. However, the government's put in place a scheme where banks can extend mortgages by a year or so. So I don't think it's likely to happen in the short term that a large percentage of people default. Remember that if we think about the UK, at least, the biggest mortgages are in the south, in London and the south, and that's where the squeeze on mortgage interest with people remortgaging in the foreseeable future, that's where I believe that it's going to be the tightest squeeze and the biggest range of defaults are going to happen in the London type area, maybe in the south as well. But that's not the whole of the UK. Likewise, I don't think that these banks have all of their mortgages in the high risk areas. So at least in the short term, I don't see mortgage defaults as being a risk for the banks. Secondly, the other risk that people talk about is privatization or nationalization, or indeed national punishments, financial punishments or fiscal punishments by the government, as like what happened with the oil industry in 2021 when companies like Shell and BP made outsized profits when the fuel prices went up. There might be something similar with the banks, but I don't expect that to happen soon. However, there is a slight risk that it affects the share price, rumors of that. However, I invested in the oil companies in 2021 and they did very well, despite some of those levies and some of those fines, etc. So there you go. That's one of my trades that I'm wanting to do. I've already done it with me and my wife's account. We're going to do it slightly bigger. I think we're going to do it slightly big with me and my business partner. We've got cash just laying in the bank looking to do property deals, but I think we're going to pause property, for this year. I think prices are falling. It's not a good idea to buy right now. So we're going to pause property, and I think we're going to put a little bit into both short-term trades and long-term investing. And on the short-term trades, the banking trade, I think, is a strong trade for 2023. I already talked about it late last year. Would have made 20% last year, plus about a 10% dividend. So would have made about 30% on the NatWest trade in October of last year when I first mentioned it to my business partner. I didn't do anything. I wanted to do it with him then, and he said no, so we didn't do it. But here we are. We're around 247p for the NatWest shares at the moment. I expect results to be incredible this year and for the foreseeable future. I expect them to make billions and billions every year, and I expect them to be buying back lots of their stocks as well. They've already probably bought back $1 billion, which is 5% of the company. That has a fantastic effect on earnings as well, because if you buy back 5% a year, within a short period of time, your EPS, your earnings per share, will skyrocket because there's a lot less shares in issue. That's what companies do when they don't want to pump it out in dividends. They either do dividends or they do share buybacks, and they're already doing a massive amount of dividends. NatWest paid a special dividend last year, and I expect the same thing to happen this year. So it could be quite a good year. This isn't financial advice, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not even a financial analyst, but I just use financial logic here. And I tend to predict trends that sometimes they work out. Predicted the oil trend, predicted the this banking trend, and I predict it to continue as well. House builders, that's the third trend I've predicted in the last 6 months. That was bang on. But anyway, I haven't backed a lot of those trends. I've backed the vegan trend, and I think that's going in reverse, and lots of vegan brands are going under. Nevertheless, I didn't put too much money into that. But anyway, if you like these kind of videos, let me know in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. In terms of the sizes, we're not betting that much on these. We are using kind of leveraged instruments, so we're betting per point. In my private account, about £10 a point, so not a huge amount. I might up that to £20 a point, maybe, or £30 a point. And in the business account, I'm suggesting something like £20 to £40 a point. So let's see what happens. Hopefully, I'm right on this trade idea. Like and subscribe. Remember that knowledge is power, especially the right kind of knowledge, and progress is everything. Make sure to check out my other videos, which you might enjoy, that might pop up soon. And I'd love to hear what your ideas are for this year. I know it's a weird year. We're moving out of property. We're going into some short-term stuff, which I'm interested in. Hopefully, we don't lose our shirt on it. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Take care.